Salah and Diaz brilliant again, Madueke hat-trick, and Man City conceded to Ipswich at home. Let's overreact to the Premier League Gameweek 2 fixtures. So we had 32 goals across all 10 fixtures this weekend. And let's start on the first one. You've got Brighton versus Man United, half 12 kickoff. And I know all the media will be about Man United in this one, how they conceded a 95th minute equaliser, how they had a stupid offside goal. But why don't we talk about Brighton for a couple of minutes? Brighton brought in Fabian Hürzeler from St. Pauli in Germany. He's only 31. It makes him the youngest manager in the Premier League. I mean, he's 7 years younger than his starting central midfielder, James Milner. But I do think they might be an underrated shout for another top 6 push because Brighton are constantly there. But they just have such an underrated squad. They brought in Jorginho Rutter from Leeds United. Fantastic signing. Quite expensive, but excellent player on his day. Minter from Newcastle. Again, they paid a lot of money for him, but he looks a very promising young player. And they're continuing to bring in players like O'Reilly from Celtic. They're trying to get him at the moment. They're trying to get a lad from Fenerbahce. And they also loaned out Barco because they said he doesn't think he's good enough defensively at the moment, which I really admire that they're trying to get him a season. I believe he's going to Sevilla, so it's a good team that he's going to. But I'm not the only one. They're just brilliant, aren't they? They're so good. They're just such a well-run football club. And then you compare it to the team that they just played, Man United, and I don't think they're going to go anywhere this season. Xerxes looks really good, in my opinion. Again, like I said last week, he's built like an NFL player, but he's so light on his feet. I think he's going to be one of Man United's bright sparks this season. But unfortunately, you could argue that the FA Cup win, I mean, Man United's board, they did a U-turn. Literally, they had planned they were going to sack him. It was in the media. And then because he won that, they did a U-turn. And then Ten Hag's back in charge. I believe they're given him even more responsibility. Then you got the 3 o'clocks. You got West Ham Crystal Palace, Fulham Leicester, Man City Ipswich, Southampton Forest and Spurs Everton. I caught the Spurs Everton game legally, I might say. But Palace look like they're in a bit of trouble at the moment. They've let go of Anderson. It looks like they'll probably still let go of Mark Gay. It's actually come out tonight, Sunday speaking, that Liverpool are actually after Eze, so we'll see what happens with that. Because it's a shame, because they seemed so promising under Glasner last season that they seem to let Elise, they let Gay, they let Anderson, maybe Eze go. And it seems like it's slightly crumbling around them. But on the flip side, look at West Ham. West Ham, the business this summer has been excellent. Wan-Bissaka looked really good from the highlights that I saw from him. Again with Max Kilman. Kudus is such an underrated player. Once he gets some numbers to his game, he's going to be one of the best players in the league. Obviously, Jarrod Bowen is just so clinical still. He took his finish so well. He's always just going to be up there with 15 goals and 10 assists every single season. Fulham Leicester didn't really catch this. Saw Smith Rowe's goal. Smith Rowe is going to be excellent for this season. Forest Southampton, it was 1-0. Man City Ipswich. Ipswich scored an early goal, which I think took everyone by surprise, but once you started refreshing, 2 minutes later it was 3-1 to Man City, so it's just the way it is with them. Haaland is just so clinical. His third goal was excellent, and like I said last week, it seems like Man City have got a Mahrez regen in Savinho. He just looks so tidy with his feet, down that right-hand side, which you could argue has been somewhat missing from Man City recently, because Bernardo Silva, I prefer him more in the middle, not on the right, and they haven't really replaced Mahrez since now with Savinho. But saying that, Ipswich made a really good signing with Jack Clarke, £18 million. They got him from Tottenham. Tottenham got him from Leeds a few years ago. He had a great season at Sunderland last year. So I think that is an excellent signing for him, and he can join with Amari Hutchinson, Liam Delap in that attack, which it's going to be exciting. I don't think it's going to be enough to keep them up, but I think it will be an exciting team to watch. And then Spurs Everton. If anyone wants a bit of a laugh, watch all the Everton fans just have a go at their players getting on the train back up to Liverpool, because it's 2 games in. Granted, they've conceded 7 goals. I don't think Everton were that bad in the first half. I just think defensively they collapsed in the second. And I think Spurs' attack, which is just brilliant, it just was too much for them. But luckily, I just think there are going to be 3 worse teams than Everton this year. So they'll be able to get the new stadium next season. But yeah, I don't think they'll go down. Spurs, on the other hand, look excellent in my opinion. And if they just get... I really want Archie Gray to get a few starts this year, because Basuma, I really do like him. But Archie Gray, I think, might be one of the keys to getting them into the top 4. And I know that sounds ridiculous coming from Leeds last year, but once Basuma's down and Sarr seems to be a bit injury prone, I think Archie Gray can be that good holding midfielder. And then the half-5 kickoff, you had Arsenal going up to Birmingham, playing at Villa Park against Aston Villa. Yeah, it was a pretty good game, to be fair. I think Aston Villa feel hard done by, losing that 2-0. Morgan Rogers is a very, very good player, isn't he? Bloody hell, he's strong, isn't he? That move when he ran near his own box into Arsenal's box, he just pushed everyone off like they were children. Ollie Watkins, I don't know what's up with him at the moment. Maybe it's a bit of a hangover from last season. He missed an absolute sitter, got taken off for Duran, so I don't know if he's not fit at the moment or if he needs a bit more time to reacclimatise to the Premier League. But if I was a Villa fan, I wouldn't be necessarily worrying about the performances. I'd be worrying about the squad depth, because once the Champions League starts, as we all know, happened with Newcastle last season, you can be as good as you want. Once Ollie Watkins pulls up with a hamstring, once Onana pulls up with a bit of a groin pull, then you just don't have the team to keep it going. So I do think players like a Ross Barkley this season, like a Leon Bailey, who was pretty good last season, they're going to have to up the numbers, because they don't have a Diaby, who weighed in with about 15 goal contributions last year. Watkins, I don't think he's going to get, a 19 goal, 20 assist a season again. And I do think Jonathan Duran might be the X factor that gets them 10, 12 goals a season and pushes them back into the Europe spots. So Sunday's games next, and we're looking at Bournemouth Newcastle to start with. Bournemouth look alright, to be fair. I thought they'd drop off a cliff losing Dom Solanke. Semenyo seems to have taken more of that role. I mean, he was good last season, but I think he is the focal point of the attack now. They've got Tavernier on the wing, who still is a solid winger, and they've got that lad from Porto. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Is it Van Ilsen? Something like that. Again, he missed a bit of a sitter, could have got on the score sheet today. Newcastle, on the other hand, one, what was Joelinton doing? How did he not get sent off for that? I don't know. And two, I don't know, something about Newcastle this season, I think they really need to up the game, because they scraped to win past Southampton. They barely got through past Bournemouth. Realistically, who are they going to sign? Mark Gay, who, I think will sturdy up the defence a bit. But again, if they lose Kieran Trippier, who apparently might be going to Everton, I think they're very lucky that they don't have Europe this season, because if they did have Europe this season, I think the squad would be absolutely ruined. But then, game of the day, game of the weekend, game of the season so far. I know we're only 2 weeks in, but we got Chelsea Wolves. And to all the people who also didn't watch this, wink wink, then it was just a brilliant game. It's what you want to see. Just two teams going hammer and tongs at it, not caring one bit about the defence, and just trying to run up the score as much as they can. It's funny because I love these games where it's 6-2 to Chelsea, and I think Wolves could come away going, I think we could have won that. Because in the first half, before Cole Palmer did that chip, Wolves were all over Chelsea. Cunha should have scored. That Larson should have scored up top. Juan could have got a couple. But then Robert Sanchez hits it over to Nicholas Jackson. He hits it over to Cole Palmer, and he takes it so smoothly. He's not a one-season wonder, is he? Even I doubted him a tiny bit. He's world class. He is top quality. And then it just unravelled from there. Chelsea brought on Pedro Neto. They brought on João Felix. And I think when Madueke got going, because he got a hat-trick today, and I know he's had a few bitter words with Wolverhampton and the City, and I know he apologised, but he just took them apart today. And if Chelsea play like that every game, I don't think they're going to win 6-2, and I don't think they're going to do too great. But it's going to be an exciting time watching Maresca's team this year. And then finally, you got Liverpool-Brentford at home, Arne Slot's first competitive game at Anfield. And it was an interesting one, wasn't it? Because, again, I don't think Liverpool started great. I think Brentford came out. I think Nathan Collins had like a 70-yard run where no one tackled him in like the first 30 seconds. But later on in the game, I think the midfield got into it more, similar to the Ipswich one. And after that counter-attacking goal where Diaz just took it so smoothly, Liverpool came into their own. Mo Salah seems like he's having one of those seasons again. All I'll say with Mo Salah, I think he had the season, was it 2 years ago now, where he was tipped for the Ballon d'Or. Then AFCON hit. I know he doesn't have AFCON this January, but it just seems like he can't keep that pace. If he can keep 80% of his current pace for the entire season, then I do think Liverpool could win the league, and I think he will definitely win Player of the Season. I personally don't think he will. I think he'll slow down a bit. But in defence to him, that's when you need a Jota, a Diaz, who are playing well at the moment, a Gakpo, a Captain Chaos, to pick up the slack and get a few numbers in the game, which it seems like they are doing at the moment. Gravenberch still gives, in my opinion, he gives like a bit of Paul Pogba, doesn't he? You know, he's so lanky on the ball. He loves to run with it. He's got a great touch. Obviously, he's not as good as Paul Pogba. Play like that, I think, they're always valuable in a team. Szoboszlai was decent again. I personally play Harvey Elliott over him, but that's just my opinion. And then McAllister, he's busy. It's always a shame because I think he could get unlocked to do more because he's so talented, but he's just industrial midfield. It's a bit like a Genie Wijnaldum where you knew Wijnaldum could have been better, but he's playing a role. But on the flip side of that, I don't think Brentford were necessarily that bad. I mean, Liverpool just brilliant attacking, especially in the second half. I mean, that little passing move where Salah was going back and forth in the box and he nearly finished that. The Brentford defender just got in the way at the last minute. But again, like I said, last week, Thomas Frank is just a brilliant manager. Even still, I think Brentford could go down just because of the quality of players, but the cohesiveness in that squad, they're all playing for the manager, which I love. I just want to see Thomas Frank do well because he's just such a likeable guy. And then you had Trent, in my opinion, just sulking like a child on the bench. I don't know what's going on. He got taken off on the 70th minute. What's wrong with that? He's resting him. They got United next weekend. Just get over yourself, in my opinion. And then, of course, he knows it's going to spell all those rumours to Real Madrid. He's out of contract. Is he going to do a Steve McManaman at the end of the season? I don't think that'll go down very well with the Liverpool fans. But we'll see. Let me know what you think of this game week's fixtures. I think it was a really entertaining week and I'm excited if the quality of football is going to continue for the future. If you could leave a like on the video, if you could subscribe and like I say, leave a comment, let me know what you think. But thanks for watching.